as you're finding your way down to earth, an invitation is to begin to let this practice that we're going to do this afternoon. We're going to start to make a gentle, intuitive, and physical contact with the energy of the root chakra, or the base energy at the base of the spine, legs, knees, feet, and base of pelvis. The rooting energy is an energy of finding, I love to work with the energy of an imprint. An imprint you could imagine if you were walking on a beach, or if you were walking in the forest. You could imagine what would happen if your feet, your bare feet, would meet the sand on the beach or would meet the forest floor. And of course, whatever that you would be walking on would make a different imprint, or the weight of your body or the material would create a different form or shape. But in general, an invitation for 1 minute or so, simply to reflect or visualize on making an imprint, not necessarily an impact. An impact actually asks for a fair bit of force. But an imprint, on the other hand, is what happens when some weight leaves its weight into a somewhat responsive surface. Imprint can happen when we yield. When we're little babies, it is said, or also when we're working with young animals, we make an imprint. There's behavioral imprints. So things that are, in a sense, lasting. Imagine for a few moments the idea of walking on a beach. Maybe it's a beach you like, a sandy beach, on bare feet, or a mossy forest where you could, as you walk, leave an imprint into the earth. That imprint, even if it's going to go away after a little bit of time, just because of the nature of sand and water, or moss and snow and growth and decay, the imprint is a symbol of existing, or of being there on earth in this moment in time in a physical body. Very often, humans make imprints with hands and with feet. Of course, one could make it with the whole body as well, but very often human beings make imprints with hands or feet. Sometimes it's intentional. We see in some of the caves, prehistoric caves in France and other places, that there are imprints of the palm, along with some of their other cave drawings. And the palm would be also a symbol of I have been here. Sometimes in the most simple graffiti, it says, Susie was here, or so-and-so was here. Or graffiti also marks a person's presence, also some creative expression of being in a certain place. Also, in other graffiti where people are tagging or marking, that will make an imprint on being here. So the root energy has a lot to do with being here in the body. And although not everything is hierarchical, it's a pretty good starting point to be able to feel presence and flow in the parts of the anatomy and energetic anatomy that relate to the root chakra. So for this few minutes, let's say about 10 minutes or so, imagine that where you are here on the earth, you are in a place that you could leave an imprint of your whole body On our first module, we've done that by yielding or leaving the weight through our body as a giver, through the receiver's body, down through the body into the earth. Here, when we're working with it by ourselves or in a solo practice, we leave the imprint by letting some movement happen, bringing attention to where the body is in contact with what represents earth. So maybe that's the back of your pelvis or the soles of your feet or your shoulders or your head. And by yielding or leaving the weight, noticing the weight of the body through those surfaces, you might find that leaving an imprint, being here on earth now, is a pleasure, or you may feel that there's some reluctance or some resistance to that. Can I really? Or even sometimes we can't feel our bodies enough to even sense the contact with what represents earth or to invite in the yield. But maybe little by little, one could begin to roll a little to the left or a little to the right. Or if you're on your belly, to pick up from the knee to the foot and then lay it back down. What kind of movements could help you to begin to imagine to leave an imprint in the forest floor or the soft sand of the beach? It's not in cement, it's not going to be there forever. It's mutable and changes also with nature. And see if you let it be not a project, but a sensing or a feeling. A few minutes of slowly letting the body move, shape, rest, breathe, with bringing attention to the points or surfaces of contact to the earth, leaving a gentle imprint. Sometimes, as we come closer to the earth and we find our way onto the earth with bigger movements of arms or legs or back, you might notice places in your physical anatomy that feel like they're holding up a little bit or can't quite let go, and that's okay. It's not about forcing to let go. We all know nobody can force us to let go until the let go happens naturally. But it could be bringing awareness without judgment to these areas that pull up or hold back a little bit from the surface and the support of the earth. Sometimes we can't trust that what we think will hold us will actually hold us. So there might be little moments of releasing the weight. Then there might be little moments of saying, not sure, but maybe, and little moments of releasing. And in this short attunement to your body, to the feeling sense, at some point, invite your attention towards the feeling of your head and where your head is on whatever represents earth. It might be your mat, it might be a pillow, might be the floor. And if it feels okay for you, let your hands come up to be in contact with your head, one or both, around the forehead. If you're laying on your belly or your side, it will be more on the side or the back of the head, probably. So find whatever feels like a containment for the head. So the weight of your arms, the neutral weight of your arms or your hand or your forearm, leave a little weight onto the surface of your head, somewhere on the surface of the cranium. If your arms get tired at any point, change arms or take a rest. It's not something to endure. Over time, you could start to leave the weight and softly in different places around the head. And as you leave the weight through the hands, it may be that the head naturally turns because there's more contact to earth. So for a couple of minutes, a natural play between the yielding contact of the arm, the head, the arm, the hand, or the forearm with what will be the earth of the head. A couple of minutes of giving care and yielding around the head. For these few minutes, I won't add much information. I'll give some space. For the soft contact around the head, and maybe the gentle turning of the head. Notice where the hand or the arm is in contact with the head, and where the head may be in a mutable or changing or steady contact with what represents earth. Now and then, also notice if there is changes or responsiveness from your breathing. About 3 minutes now without input from me. To let the head be where you give attention, and that doesn't preclude that the body could also move or follow. Unwinding, beginning with yielding at the head. letting whatever movement or unwinding or stillness that is happening for you, let that continue on its way. And a little invitation to imagine that your head, and you might feel a more specific area of your head, or you might feel head or mental field energy in general, that your head could notice that you have feet, way down there at the end of the body. There's the feet. And that your feet could notice that you have a head. Could you imagine if the head, it's a little bit of a game, you can even smile a little bit at the metaphor, if your head, of course, which includes your neck or your face or your hair, in general, your head could see your feet from, not necessarily with your eyes, but see your feet from across a crowded room. Imagine it was a dance floor and your head could feel, sense, in a feeling sense way, see your feet from across a crowded room, and your feet with their feeling sense, and they won't have a sense of vision, so they'll have to use their metaphorical vision. Your feet could see your head from across a crowded room. We've all seen it in movies, sort of a it's a classic scene where man sees the woman that he's going to fall in love with, and she sees the man she's going to fall in love with, or it could be whatever gender actually you like. We're just using those roles as polarities, head and feet. Mm. So imagine that feet and head could see each other across a crowded room. And what would happen if you would let your head move a little and your feet move a little as if they were relating to each other? Who knows what that will look like for you? It's a little bit of a somatic game. And who knows, maybe one of the feet is more active or more present in your attention. And over time, and who knows how this will happen, let feet and head get closer to each other. It could be one direct and clear move, the feet move to the head or the head move to the feet, or there might be a little shyness from one part or a little uh, magnetism or come and go. So it's a little different than just in a yoga sense, bring your head to your feet or your feet to your head. Let feet and head start to come towards each other. It's like a little dance. And it doesn't matter if they actually touch, it's the attraction of the energy and creating also a connection between the feet and the head, of the felt sense between the feet and the head. It might even make you smile or giggle a little bit. Babies are really good at this one. They usually feet go right for the mouth. If I was more high tech, I would put on a little tango music right now, and it could be like the feet and the head were coming towards each other in a little bit of a somatic body tango. So have a little fun. Fun and playfulness is one of the super important qualities that can bring lightness and flexibility and more space into our practicing. So slowly, slowly, feet coming somewhere close to meet the head. Head can come to meet the feet. Notice if either one is more reluctant, if head wants to stay where it is and it's all serious because it's the head, or the feet are doing their job to keep you stable so they don't think to go towards too much towards the head, or could it be a mutual dance? And then here's really a playful part, and I hope that you'll be willing to just go a little bit into it. If your head was to say, "Hmm," and this is with all respect and just being fun and light, if your head had a little pickup line for your feet, what would the pickup line be? Of course, it will be something always respectful, not overriding, but you could play with a little pickup line from the head to the feet. And you could also try a pickup line from the feet to the head. So maybe that pops into mind, or maybe nothing comes. But, and then over time, so we'll slowly, slowly find some rolling or some gentle movement that over time, next 1 or 2 minutes, notice if you can bring wherever you're at the direction of child gesture. So rolling onto the side when it needs to happen and rolling into that gentle and natural, if it's okay for your body, child gesture, which is at bent knees. It's a kneeling over the knees with the forehead or the head coming in contact with earth. Earth and the surface of the earth, the surface of the ground that we're touching, of course, will have a lot to do with representing root energy, root chakra. In somatic bodywork, most often we work on the surface of the earth or on the surface on the ground rather than on a table or a chair. Sometimes, if we have to, we can work also on a table or a chair. But usually, we'll work on a large surface on the earth as a representation to yielding, coming back to earth, giving a lot of space for existing, leaving an imprint, and being here in the body. So, just the very fact that we work with others on earth and work with ourselves on earth is in itself already a gift to root chakra energy to come out of the chairs, out of the tables, out of the furniture, and onto the earth. And it's nice to have the soft surface as well when we need it, so it feels like a soft and welcoming earth. If you've found that you have rolled a little bit into this gesture of child, if natural movements come in, you could let them. Or if you feel like you're simply comfortable to stay in child for a few breaths, invite in the base breathing. So you may remember that's when you breathe in, it's a light touch of your breath behind your navel. And the navel may expand a little bit. And as you breathe out, it's just a natural navel moves back towards center, a natural letting go. Vase breathing is a nervous system reset because it creates some space for new circulation of the bioenergy. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we're together on the video. A few rounds of vase breathing, and it's so light, tender, gentle, but present. The three there's three words that I like to work with right now in whatever practice I'm doing, and they're words from um, Anapemi Chodron, and I think she got them from her teacher. Precision, gentleness, and letting go. So the precision bring in the clarity and the knowing that we're here. The gentleness bring in the not getting rigid around it, staying soft and present with the changes. And the letting go, well, that's the letting go. There's moments that that can happen. In the next little bit of time, when you feel it, notice a way that your spine could naturally verticalize itself. It might be a rolling up, it might be a coming to cat, it might be as simple as sitting up, and simply give yourself a couple of minutes to let that happen if you need. And feel what it feels like to return to a verticalized spine over time. As each of us returns to a verticalized spine, in our own timing, just spend a few breaths just feeling where you are now. You might feel your legs and your seat making the imprint to earth, the connection to earth. And let yourself, for a few moments, simply experience what it feels like to sit in this space where you're at today. Which is interesting. It's two spaces. There's the space, the physical space, which you are inhabiting, and then we're also in a shared space, a virtual space, but it is a resonance. We create that together. So just a few moments of sitting with yourself and especially noticing what parts of your body are in contact with the earth. I am here. Gently, we could have a little movement or a intentional deepening of the breath or voluminous breath or a little stretch, whatever it is that you also can extend your attention out into the space around you and also including the screen and the teachings when you like.